Hello and welcome. Yes, perfect. My audio is working. Forgot to check that before. Hello, welcome to episode 189 of the Immaterial Gamers podcast. We've got me. We've got D. Say something, D, so I can check your audio.
I
Perfect.
don't.
We're all good. So, it's a little bit of a weird week. A whole bunch of our people got sick, got a cold or something. We don't know what it is.
Oh,
Apparently, Stefan's taken a test to make sure it wasn't COVID, and he says he's clear. But Stefan's off sick, and Ryan's off sick. Everybody's off sick. How
wait,
dare they?
they're all okay.
Yes, all the people that you were hanging out with. It's your
Oh
turn
fuck.
next. It's your turn next. Now, I'm pretty sure if you were to get it, you would have had it already because everybody else has it. So, I think you're clear.
I have no idea.
Maybe they're making out in the bathroom while you were not there. So you were flickering away.
Well, it's been wait. First place we were all together. We were in the escape room. Second place in Pixel Bar. We were basically just sat at the table for most of it. Just went toilet. Third place I spent in the restaurant bit. I was feeling really ill and spent most of mine in the bathroom.
Hmm. Try to get yourself a
Uh,
little bit close to the center of your camera. You keep fading out of existence.
is that better?
Looks like it. Yep. You're literally just fading out of existence. Well, so
And when it came to going to Muse, I decided to come home because there was no point me feeling really ill sat in a bar that I'm not going to be drinking in.
yeah. So the backstory to this is
Night
Ryan's
out.
yeah Ryan's roommate Martin, who's I don't know if he's been on any podcasts, but um he's definitely part of the Immaterial Gamers team. He might have been in some podcasts. I'm not sure. Um,
No, it's not really his thing.
it was his birthday, so they took him out to a
Yeah,
night
we
of
had a
fun.
Saturday night out. Well, afternoon. Started at 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
We had to meet in town for half
they
12.
had they had a birthday party all around town, basically.
We got out of the escape room in 58 minutes.
Yeah, two
Woo!
minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes shorter than the total time you were allowed. So
Yep. We did a ministry. It's some kind of magic thing. Ministry magic kind of deal. We had
hmm,
to brew a potion.
okay. And
Um,
then you went to a bar that had basically just potions as drinks
yeah. I
or
sent you
games,
the thing.
potions and games
Oh
titles
yeah,
as
it's.
drinks and Pokemon names and
I showed you the thing, didn't I?
yeah.
Yeah, it's called Pixel Bar. You can book a table and have a console, basically. And the person that pays for the table has to, if anyone nicks a pad or anything, it gets charged to the person at the table.
Here, let me see if I can find those links.
Um, it was pretty fun. Um, because you just basically, it was loud because it was Saturday afternoon, but you have to book the table in advance.
That's the
But
link to
Pixel
their
Bar,
menu. Yeah.
yeah, it's like they've got like the Jigglypuff, Falcon Punch, Creeper.
Jigglypuff, jiggly.
The Jigglypuff is comes with candy floss on top.
Cotton
It's very
candy.
sweet. Yeah. The Creeper is effectively a zombie, but more or less.
I don't even know what a zombie is as a drink.
It's a cocktail that
I got that it was a cocktail, but
it's a rum-based cocktail.
okay.
Uh, quite nice. The one that I want to get, if I was going to go back, I would probably drink Falcon Punches if I was drinking.
Falcon Punch.
Falcon Punch. Yeah, it's yeah. Um, and they've got like the Pokemon cards ones. What's that Pokemon? So you choose a flavor, and the drink
Yeah, the drink's
comes with a
literally
Pokemon
called
card.
what's that Pokemon?
Yeah, and you got an actual Pokemon card clipped onto the top of the drink.
Cool.
Um, based on the type of drink you ordered. They've got like strawberries, fire, and da 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 da.
Okay.
We played. We had the PS5 booth, so we were playing like Moving Out and what else? Play a couple of other things, but yeah.
Yeah, you said, but unfortunately it was pretty loud there, so it was starting to hurt your
Oh,
head.
I had a headache, but I, my headache was my head was just going boom, 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 boom for most of it.
Yeah, that's understandable.
It's nice. It's a nice environment and everything. It's just busy and loud. It was, cause especially on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
And yeah, apparently they do PC gaming downstairs, so there's literally all types of gaming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish we were on the one booth next to us, or on either side, because it goes. The booths go Switch or like Wii kind of deal. Nintendo, PS5, Switch. duh, 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 duh. Um, so if we were on a Nintendo booth, we could have played some Brawl and stuff like that, and like because it comes preloaded and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah, I see the Switch and stuff like that being a little bit more fun for groups.
Because we had the PlayStation. What was we had Jackbox if we wanted to play Jackbox, but it
I think we do
was
enough Jetbox, so
we had like because we had like Jackbox. We tried Moving Out and tried a few other things, but the Nintendo screens were all like Brawl and stuff like that,
yeah, yeah.
Mario Kart and stuff.
Well, like I said, the Nintendo Switch has a lot more games that are made for group play, which is why I said that'd probably be a more fun booth for that situation.
Hmm. But yeah, I would say it's good if you got some time to kill
Yeah,
and you don't mind. The table has QR code things, so you have to order with the QR code on your phone
yeah, that makes sense.
for the most
It
part.
saves people having to get up and going over to a bar or waiting for somebody to come around. That makes a lot more sense.
You basically order the
Yeah,
yeah.
that
If you've
part's
got a
pretty
booth,
simple.
if you obviously if you're at the bar, if you don't have a table, you're at the bar, you get your drinks that way. But
Yeah,
if you've got a table, you can just do a table
yeah.
thing and then it'll
We,
bring it to
I
you.
think we get the gist.
Sorry,
No, no, it's fine. Um,
it's been the
so
first time. Yeah, it was the first time we've been out in months. So
yeah, well, with COVID, it's not exactly easy. So, what have you played this week?
I've been playing more Lost Ark. I've now broke my barrier that I was whinging about.
Oh,
The 600 I was needing to get to my eye level of 600.
yeah.
Okay, I broke that barrier, and I'm now on an item level of 900 and like 990 something. I need to get to 100, the next barrier
Hmm.
tier.
Wow.
So now I craft tier 2, and then I've got a whole map to do yet. Because the last map's 1100. That's where the last arc will be on Pucker. I need to finish. Am I done Rothendale? Done Yawn. I'm in the Felton now with the demon brace that Steph is.
Okay.
Um, they're called Delaney. The Felton is an island full of Delaneys. Well, the demon people.
Okay. I was gonna say the Delaney sound like a race. So yeah.
Yeah. They are human, but they are corrupted by half demon.
Okay.
Uh, so, and if they, a lot of the Delaneys struggle to try and stay human because if they give into their corruption, they give into the chaos, and then they become a pure demon.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and basically, that's all I know of Delaney so far. It's Steph's race, so Steph will be able to tell you all the lore. Most likely.
Well, but
Oh, a bit more
unfortunately,
about it.
Stefan's sick, so he's not here to tell me the lore. But that's fine. We don't need a
It's
whole backstory of the whole game.
but no,
Uh,
it's just basically. Oh, and I locked my ghost ship today,
you got your ghost ship.
and I had
Hallelujah.
enough to upgrade it to level 4. I went, I got it at level 1. I had the stuff to go to 4, so I just went level 4 ghost ship, please.
Yeah.
It's massive in comparison to the other ships because it's yeah. I don't know. I couldn't call it. I was going to try and call it the Flying Dutchman, and he didn't like that. He didn't like the Black Pearl because it just went no. So I settled on Borealis.
Okay.
If if you know what the Borealis is.
I have no idea what the Borealis is. I know what the other two are.
Yeah. The Borealis was the ship that is in the Portal 2 universe. It's in the Portal and Finger universe. It was a ship that was created in Aperture Science. They teleported it to the Arctic Circle somewhere.
Oh yeah, I remember. I remember that now.
Because you find in Portal 2, you find in when you go to the fall where Klaus becomes a potato.
Yeah.
There's a room that just has a buoy called Borealis. In Half-Life, if you play the Half-Life games, you know that Borealis is in the Arctic Circle and it's just there.
Yeah.
No one knows exactly what's going on with it. It was leading up to if there was a Half-Life 3, probably the Borealis would be the next place to check out. Go to the Arctic Circle and figure out what's going on with Borealis.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and we've been playing Factorio, aren't we, again? Except for last week.
Yeah, I
Do
think
you want to explain last week?
this happened after our podcast. Pretty sure it happened after the podcast, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah,
We
so
had the podcast on the Monday, and Tuesday everything went to fucking hell in a handbasket.
so basically
And I mean hell in a handbasket.
me and Danny are playing RimWorld, or not RimWorld,
Factorio.
Factorio, and basically the gist of Factorio is you're on an alien planet and you have to gather resources to make a spaceship to get off the planet.
Yep.
Uh,
But
there's a lot of
the
automation, and the aliens on the planet will spread. They'll make little bases, basically camps, and they over time spread to new ones. And as they absorb pollution, which your buildings produce, whether it's even electric buildings still produce pollution. I'm assuming it's partially towards like noise pollution, stuff like that. But basically, it's all considered pollution.
well,
There's no
the heat coming off the generators would be still it's still smelting,
yeah, but
so
they're
it's
also
still giving
making
off pollution.
noise. They're also making noise. So I think a lot of it
It,
has to do with
it, but yeah, it's basically a building produced solution.
yes, and
Pollution even.
it's just pollution in general. There's no variation of pollution. It's just pollution,
Yeah,
and
depending on what
basically
the technology. But yeah, it's like the co-production would give off more pollution than
yes.
not co-production. But
Obviously,
they
yeah.
eat it to get stronger,
I'm getting
and
to,
they.
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that.
Okay, you did it.
So basically, on your map, it registers like a depth of red if you have the pollution filter on, and it will start to spread around your base. And certain, it will decay over like slowly but surely, and trees and stuff like that help reduce pollution.
To a point.
Yeah, if you produce too much, it will actually kill the trees and the oceans and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
if it gets to the hostile bases, they will actually absorb the pollution. If they absorb enough pollution, they will attack you. And if they
and
absorb
evolve.
and if they absorb enough, they can also evolve to stronger and stronger creatures.
Yep.
So basically, the longer you play, the stronger they get if they're absorbing your pollution.
They get even stronger, even faster.
Which we sort of knew, but we'd forgotten about. Well, I had forgotten about, especially the evolution. I thought the evolution was just over time they got stronger. I didn't realize it was based on how much pollution they absorb.
And we had a pollution bubble the size of like Kansas or something.
Well, yeah, we have these buildings that allow us to build,
Buildings inside buildings.
yeah, larger structures compacted into smaller structures.
What I'm kind of enjoying, to be fair. I
It
do.
it helps with organization. It helps with making things kind of
Plus, you can pick the building up and relocate them if need be.
yeah.
See, we can
But
reorganize base if need
on
be.
the downside, if that building dies, you lose everything inside of it.
Yeah, we said that last time, I think.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
basically what happened
Oh,
is we had a massive amounts of power production, coal power production, inside one building, and that produces a lot of pollution. Um,
the Lake 10 was pure green by that point. It was just toxic.
yeah, basically
Um,
the game gives you this coal power to get started, and then you're supposed to switch over to solar to reduce some
wind.
of your coal
Uh,
needs, and then towards nuclear, which nuclear I believe still has pollution because it's still using heat,
yeah.
but it'll be a lot less than coal, which is burning coal and producing pollution and then producing heat as well. But
Mm.
yeah, basically we were producing shit tons of pollution because we didn't care. We had plenty of space to store it. Usually you downgrade that, um, but we didn't because it was all contained in a nice compact little building. Didn't need any more power, so we didn't even think about going to solar. It wasn't like we were running out of space on
But we
expanding
didn't
that,
have.
so we
We
didn't have
didn't.
to.
But we also didn't do black research. What is combat?
Yeah, we didn't do any of the military research. Well, we didn't automate our military research, which you have to basically produce these potions of different types. Um, you start out with a basic red potion, which is very simple to craft, and you can craft it in your inventory very quickly. And you put it into a research building, and over time, it breaks that item down and completes research for you.
So now we need to do research.
Yes, but basically, as you get into the higher tiers of the game, you need
You
different
need
types of
machines.
research. You need different types of research. So you start out with your little red one, then you get a green one. Then you
Then the
have the
blue one.
option to get, I believe you have the option to get the black one as well at the same time as the blue.
Yeah, it's blue and black, but you don't miss it.
But you don't need black for anything but military. So we were like, we're just going to work on getting to
Drones.
better automation. So drones to move our resources around a lot
These
easier.
drones yellow.
Yes.
Hmm. Basically, if you know what the potions are, you kind of yeah.
Yeah, they sort of all lead their own way, each of the potions. Um, but yeah, in that game we didn't really go into the black tech that much, which is the military.
Yep.
And all of a sudden we were starting to get attacked by worms. And we're like, the one time that we ran into the worms, it wasn't too bad. We killed them pretty easy. So we weren't that worried. They seemed pretty weak. And then this time when we tried to get it into them, they were way stronger. We couldn't even take them out without a vehicle. And
Yeah.
the vehicles are reasonably difficult to drive in this game because the terrain is hard to tell the difference between, because it's sort of a 2D game. It's really hard to tell the difference between trees or cliffs and standard flat terrain. So
Hmm.
you're always crashing, and if you crash a vehicle, it takes damage, but you also get jammed up, and you have to get yourself unstuck while you're being swarmed by bad guys, which usually means your vehicle's dead,
Hmm.
which then, in case, usually means you're dead. Um,
Yep.
so we ended up dying a lot, dying a lot, dying a lot, and one of our external mines, or one of our iron mines, was constantly getting harassed by the bad guys. So we tried building turrets and reinforcing those bases, and they were still
But
getting
we
through the
also didn't have.
turrets.
But we also at that point they bullet damage is basically we got to the point where the bullet
Yeah,
damage doesn't
they
do any. They go
the
bullets.
the
This
mobs that we
tickles.
were up against had very high armor, so we needed more military
Fire.
weapons. So we had to use fire, but like there's energy weapons which would have been effective against them, which we didn't have because we didn't do the military research. So, anyways,
We
the
didn't have.
iron,
We didn't even have fire research. So
yeah, we ended up getting fire research, but we could only do it by hand, which means we had to try to go and get rid of the nearby bases. But it took both of us, one luring everything away basically, and the other one going in and trying to kill what's left without dying themselves, which was
mm.
not easy.
But yeah,
Um,
it was. we didn't get very far very fast,
No,
and
because every time we
we
thought we had a few minutes, um, well,
well, it
anyway,
was
so
basically they
I'll
were
go through the
respawning quicker.
story. Yeah, they were respawning at the base quicker, which is why we needed two people. We needed one person to pull them away so the other person can go through. But anyway, so they
But
were
there's
taking out this iron mine that we had, and after we finally got them out of the iron mine, um,
the hit main base.
they hit our main base. They ended up taking the very first time they did it, they took out like everything of our main base. So we ended up loading back. We lost almost a full day of load or of play.
Hmm.
Actually, no, I think we only loaded back 15 minutes. And we
But
managed to reinforce that area and take the enemies out that were the
due
really
to
strong,
arrive.
yeah, the really strong base that was really close. But it was just to the point where every time we made one advancement, they made an advancement on us. So we lost our iron mine again, and we are just like, we just wanted to start over. So we started a new file.
Well, it was just basically it was just to the point where it was just like,
It was just getting frustrating for both of us. We were actually getting angry at each other because every time we took one step forward, they kicked us one step back. And
and then would it be like, well, this needs defending, but this needs defending, this needs defending,
yeah,
this needs building, and didn't have the resources because there were a lot of the buildings that needed. They blew up a lot of the stuff that got us to get the resources.
yeah,
So
they took out the
it's just
iron mine, so we weren't getting iron for ammo, and iron's the main resource for ammo.
well, it's main resource for everything.
Yeah, well, iron and copper are the two main resources. They pretty much build everything. Um, well, basically iron, copper, and oil produces just about everything. You do need some coal, you do need some water, but those are all the resources basically. Um, but anyway, so we started a new file. We reduced the bad guys a bunch, maybe too much. We haven't decided yet. It might be too easy, but
Well, we
we're
also have one choke point now.
yeah. I picked a map that had a lot more water, so we're basically on a really big island, and we can defend it all from one side, which is nice. Which is why I think I made it slightly too easy because with the little bit of mobs that we're getting, or haven't even gotten attacked yet, but with the little bit of mobs that we've found on the map, um, maybe over time they'll spread enough that it'll actually become a little bit more challenging for fighting. But I'm into the game for the automation than the
Well, there's
fighting.
now
So
2 red dots down there.
yeah, there was always two red dots.
Okay.
There's also two random red dots of where the mobs were.
Hmm.
I we don't have any way of checking down there without getting down there. But anyways, I want to move on to the news because I am going to be running out of time reasonably quick.
Oh, you've got D&D, haven't you?
Yeah. So I said to D just before this started that I had some news for him, and
Woo.
here it is.
Okay.
Let me just get the link for it. So in there's the link, and I'm pretty sure most of us ignore. Don't read the comment. Don't read any of the comments. I'm just putting it in for the chat.
I,
So I'm pretty sure we all know 2K Games and Gearbox.
yep.
They make games like Borderlands and drawing a blank right now, but they make a lot of pretty big games.
Yeah.
And there's a character from one of the Borderlands games that Danny really likes.
Tiny Tina.
I didn't even have to say.
You
And
said
that,
Borderlands. I mean, it's Tiny Tina.
yep. So there's a game that's coming out. When is it coming out? Does it say when it's going to be released? Um.
All around this cactus plant, the stalk chase the bandit.
Um,
The dog was all in fun. Goes the
the
bandit.
concept of the game's been has been around for 10 years in development.
I take it it's
Um,
Tiny Tina's because Tiny Tina wanted it, no, just explain it to me. There's a lot of things that Tiny Tina wanted.
Yeah, well, there's been lots of things like
Because she did a
the
D&D.
she did a DLC for Borderlands 2
What was
um
the D&D one?
on Dragon's Keep or something.
Yeah,
Um
they were
which is
rolling dice and whatnot.
yeah. She was the
But she,
dungeon master
yeah,
of
and
Bunkers and Badasses.
yeah, and she made it. They had to explain to her, no, don't drop the boss in the first 5 seconds.
Yeah. Um and then so basically what this is called Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Ooh.
Um and it will see many returning characters from the core series, including uh
Wonder if they're bringing back any of the dead people like Roland.
they're bringing back Butt Stallion.
Oh, of course.
Mr. Torg.
Yep. Well, Mr.
Um,
Talk's a cool gameplay anyway.
yeah.
Talk Operation. Mr. Talk's from the Talk Operation.
Um,
The explosions! Guy.
I don't know who else they're bringing in. Those are just the few names that they they put. But
Probably Lilith, if Lilith's still around.
yeah, I don't know. But I thought you might like that's coming out. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Like it doesn't say. What does it say? It's got to. What is it supposed to be? Uh, okay, so it's a successor to the Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep.
Okay. So it's more D&D based stuff.
By the looks of it, yeah. And it'll see many returning characters.
Oh, she has Princess Fluffy Butt. Probably. But yeah, Butt Stallion.
Yeah. So I think
Feed it a
that's. It looks like it's going to be based on the whole
side
bunkers and
characters
badass. Yeah, bunkers and badasses.
DLC.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
So yeah.
Oh.
In other news, Hogwarts League. Hogwarts. Sapphire's gonna kill. Hogwarts Legacy.
Ah.
State of Play is happening this week. Which means I know a lot of people have it on pre-order, but it's been delayed and delayed because of the COVID-19. Sapphire's
What
looking to
isn't...
see if she can pre-order it, but she hasn't been able to find a way to yet.
What hasn't been delayed?
Yeah. But if it has a state of play coming out, that means at least it's getting pretty close. I'm assuming they're basically just going to do like some live streams of the game and stuff like that to try to get people excited for it. But yeah,
we've got. Oh, I can't put anything.
The other bit of news that I find exciting is obviously they're not going to come out for a while, but Nvidia is going to be bringing out. We figured eventually they would bring out a 4 series RTX card, but now apparently it's going to have huge ray tracing buffs.
I still need to get my 4. I haven't got my 3 series. I'm still with my 1050 Ti. What I really want to switch over to.
I got 2 970s. Okay, you got at least a generation newer than me. But I'm pretty sure mine are burning out. Like they're dying. I haven't got around to getting a new one. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just gonna let this computer burn.
Because at this point, your computer,
my computer's the oldest one out of all of ours. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because Ryan had to get a new one. I built this at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
COVID went up and I just went, fuck it, and built a new computer.
Yeah.
Except for the graphics card that I couldn't get.
On other news,
wasn't for the lack of trying.
If you want to get a really powerful 30 series card, in other news, the RTX 3090 Ti is coming out.
There's no point me getting past the 3070 because of the because 3080 and 3090 is for 4K. where the 3070 is for 1080p. Unless I'm getting
Yeah. There. Well, that's true for all of them. Even the 50s and 3060s and stuff like that. They're for 4K as well. But yeah, like a lot of the specs on the 3090 you'll never touch with 1080p. Or even like video rendering and stuff like that. Like that's where these huge portions of these cards go, like 3090s, 3080s, 3090s. Like that's for massive video encoding and stuff like that. When you need shit tons of bandwidth quick.
I don't
Um,
have bandwidth for it, nor do I have
I'm not
4K.
talking about
So
internet bandwidth. I'm talking about hardware bandwidth.
mm,
There is no internet that can keep up with a graphics card. Well, there is, but um, the amount of bandwidth from between the processor and the graphics card is what I'm talking about.
ah,
So like when you're doing real time video editing and stuff like that, and you want to be able to scroll through it, you need really fast access between RAM, video card, and processor. And that's the bandwidth that I'm talking about, not internet bandwidth. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of a. I don't even know what the specs are on the 3090 Ti, but that like usually the the way they do it is the Ti versions basically compete with the next tier up. So like the 3070 has a lot of the same specs as the 37 or the 3070 Ti has a lot of the same specs as the 3070 but will produce performances closer to the 3080, the next tier up basically. Um, they usually add a little bit more processor power or GPU power, they want to call it, some more cores. Um, Basically, the biggest difference is they have less RAM than the higher tier cards. The higher tier cards mostly have more RAM and more CUDA cores and stuff like that. Whereas this will increase the CUDA cores, but not so much increase the RAM. So the RAM portion is less, but it still compares relatively well
mm.
performance wise as the card above it. I don't think there's much more in the news right now, so I think I'm gonna call it at that. This is a pretty short episode. I wanted to keep it short because most of our people were sick, so it was hard just finding enough people to have a little conversation. But yeah,
So
hopefully that
what-
by the time we come back to our podcast next week, we will still have a Factorio base.
maybe.
Hopefully, because last week was not fun.
Yeah, but we also had big advantage to what we had last week.
Yeah, we have the terrain
Uh,
advantage this time.
we have the terrain advantage, and I've already built a pretty decent offense.
Yeah, and we're going solar, which should help out a bunch too.
Well, I'm trying to go solar.
We're remembering parts of the game that we had forgotten, which is I think that's part of why those mobs are in. Is it's to make it a bit of a challenge, and because okay, the game if it was just try to get into space, there's really no challenge. It's just time. It's slowly work your resources up so you can build the research to get to the point where you need. And the only challenge would literally be space, making sure that you don't expand too big to take up too much space. So they needed
Mm.
to add something, some
Well,
sort
the
of monster.
aliens. Well, the aliens basically add the do add a whole. uh, It
It depends on what kind of game you want to play. If you want to play one where you have to fight mobs, this works for that. Or you can basically disable those mobs. Well, you can disable them if you really wanted to, but I didn't want to fully disable them. I just wanted to make it a little bit easier because I'm not a big offensive person. You're not a big offensive person. So, anyways, I'm going to call it at that.
you got
And
D&D.
yep. And we will see you next week for our weekly podcasts. Bye.
Okay.
Well, let me switch over to the outro.